It's said that this generation and the generation behind us, all of us are a very self-absorbed, self-focused generation. If it doesn't serve you, don't do it. If you feel like it's hard, don't go to work. Like it's just self. What's your take on that?
There's a thin line between self-love and self-absorption. It's just, you're not careful, practicing self-love, you just slip into self-absorption. This is a conception where people actually think, people keep saying we don't owe anybody anything. Please, we do. You do not live it. Your actions affect people directly or indirectly, so you should be conscious about what you do and what you say.
Hello there, welcome to another episode of the 0 to Woman podcast. In today's episode, we'll be speaking with Ofeibea Quansah. She's an author, a ghostwriter, and people trainer whose work revolves around mental reorientation and social development. Welcome, Ofeibea.
Thank you, Jifar.
How you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Great. So, Rubies for Hair tackles topics on self-love, collaboration, healing, purpose.
Yeah.
What inspired you to write this book, and why did you feel the urgent need to address these topics?
Okay, so it started with my personal journey. So right after uni, I think, usually after school, you start trying to figure out what you're going to do next. The what next question is always there after uni, and like most of us, I was just floating. You try this, you try that, and it was not fulfilling. I wish someone actually told me that, okay, so the gaps or the voids you feel is because you are made for something and you haven't discovered it yet. So you should take time to figure out what that is. Otherwise, I wouldn't have just gone through it. I wouldn't even step into certain spaces in the first place. So that was one. And then there were some mistakes that I made as a young girl when it came to friendships and even handling disputes. And I realized it was because I wasn't self-aware enough when it came to emotional regulation and a few other things. So whenever I discovered a solution to a problem or an answer to a mistake, I just write it down as a reminder that when next I face this issue, this is how to go about it, or I need to ask questions before I do or take any decision. So at a point I realized, okay, no, this is not just peculiar to me. Most of my friends were equally going through the same phase because we're all growing up. There are some issues that are peculiar with a certain age range when you're growing up. So we'll share ideas, and I'm like, okay, no, if this book came out for every woman to realize, or just as a reminder, that when you're faced with such situations, this is the way to go. And before you even get to certain points in your life, this is what you should know. Just like, when we were young, we'll be told, okay, so we are hitting 9, 10 years, we expected the blood flow, and when it comes, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to avoid this. I wish someone sat us down to tell us, okay, so when you are growing, your emotions form in this way, and this is what you should look out for, and this is how to handle it. And that's why we have Rubies for Her.
Interesting. The themes you address are big topics: self-love, purpose, healing, collaboration. What do these mean to you?
So it all starts with self-love. Self-love because when you love yourself, Jifar, you will be able to set boundaries with yourself and then with others. You would normally not take certain things. You won't have to allow yourself to be treated in certain ways. And you would definitely decide where to sit, where to go, what to say, and who to even have in your space. So it seeps through every aspect of your life. So self-love will teach you that because I love myself, I'll carry myself this way so that in other people's world, I am not the bad person. Or even when I'm angry, because of self-love, I'll emotionally regulate. I'll be more graceful than be more harsh. And then healing. In this part of our world, we hardly talk about that. But the first point of socialization when you're born is family. And not to say that our parents did the best they could with what they know, but your confidence will be shaped by your family. Your self-worth will be shaped by family. How you think through difficult situations will all be informed by the first point of socialization. And unfortunately, people inherit parental wounds they don't even realize. And subconsciously, they start mirroring what they don't want to even become or what they don't want to remember to childhood. So that we have the mother wounds. Let's say, for instance, a young girl who saw her mother being maltreated over time. This woman says nothing, and she's still there. She's still giving her best, so to speak, to make her marriage work. What unconsciously she's being told is, it's okay to be abused. So she finds herself with a man who equally does the same to her. My mom survived it. I probably would too. That is the unconscious learning or orientation she's gone through. And these are wounds that people don't even think about that it exists. This girl walks through life with low self-esteem. She doesn't even think she's anything more than being abused. And the moment she even meets healthy love, she thinks that's a problem because that's not what she knows. All right, so these are the few wounds that goes unspoken but needs to be addressed. So I try to touch on all that in the book as well.
Purpose.
That's the big elephant in the room. So purpose is magical. I think that every human being should endeavor to find their why. Because we are human, but we are all here for a reason. What is your reason? It doesn't have to be too big. Some people think when you talk about purpose, it has to be something huge, something so glamorous. But it could just be putting smiles on people's faces just by, hi, good morning. Oh, hi, how are you doing? It's the little things. So purpose basically makes other people's lives better and also makes you fulfilled. So if there's something you do and you find yourself smiling unconsciously, is naturally tied to your purpose. It comes effortlessly. Even when it is difficult to achieve, you still find fulfillment in going through the difficulty just because it brings that sense of joy.
I like that you said that purpose isn't a very mystical word, because I feel like a lot of the time we attach this mystery to purpose, it's so unique, you need to find it, rather than just even chance on it maybe.
Yeah.
How do you think that for people who feel like, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know what I'm doing in my life, I want to live a purposeful life, what can they do? How can they find their why?
So in the book, I outlined a few points. The first is, when we are kids, it's always good to, so this is how it actually starts. It's always good to start from the known to the unknown. As kids, majority of us actually knew what we wanted to be until the world told us, no, this career path won't give you extra. This career path is something we frown on as a family or something. But there was always that part of you as a child that anytime you thought about, you were excited. There were those butterflies in your tummy. You found yourself doing certain things unconsciously. I used to sit in front of my mom's mirror and then I'm just talking, pretending I'm talking to somebody, and I'm like, so once when I was growing up, I'm like, I really like talking to people. Yeah. Not just any kind of conversation, but I like to pick people's minds. I like deep conversations. Like, could it be that when I was a child, I actually knew what I wanted to do, but then you start growing up and, there are niches you have to find yourself in just so you can survive, and you put all those dreams aside. So usually just go back to what you felt you wanted to be as a child, figure out how you can link that to today's world and how you can make other people's lives better whilst doing that.
How do we connect this is my purpose, and like you said, I need to make money to survive. So I don't want to die because I'm fulfilling my purpose.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want to have enough money to fulfill my purpose.
Yeah. So there's a thin line between that. So I find people chasing purpose, and purpose can be expensive depending on where you're called to. So it's always important to try and monetize it if you can. But if you can't, that fulfillment is there, is fulfilling enough, but it's not money. So sometimes you have to do what you have to do just so you can even live purpose. So don't be idle. Whatever your hand finds, even the Bible says, you just do it and do it well. So if it is possible to monetize it, and 100% of the time it is, you can always find a problem within the purpose for which you are called and just provide a solution to it. So sometimes it could be something that you get angry about. For instance, in your neighborhood, you don't like the fact that people litter. It pisses you off. You can just get maybe garbage bins, put it as vantage but yeah, you drop this and pay this, that kind of stuff. It's a way of making money and equally fulfilling purpose, because then the neighborhood is still clean and then you're still earning something alongside.
Women supporting women. You have that theme in your book about collaboration. I know a lot of people feel like women don't support women, but I'm not one of those people.
I know, right? I think it's a myth we have to debunk strongly, because the men don't even make it easy. Oh, these people just start fighting right now. It's just like that.
I don't even think it's true. I have a whole army of women.
Same here.
Like every single time it's women.
This book wouldn't be here without the sisterhood that I have backing me. That's for sure. And unfortunately, like you have your backing and I do, we still have other girls out there, because of their orientation or maybe one or two experiences, now think it's supposed to be a competition. Especially because of the scarcity mindset. If she gets it, I'm likely not going to get it. So I might as well just do everything I have to do to get it, if it means throwing her under the bus or saying, quote unquote, mean things about her just to break her down so I can take over. But there is beauty in collaboration. We are more alike than we actually think, like I always say. I am your best bet when it comes to understanding whatever you are going through, mentally, emotionally, than a man would, because he doesn't know what it takes to be a woman, especially probably you're in your time of the month, your hormones are raging, because I feel it too. When you say a thing or two, I can pick on it, and whatever I can do to help is likely what I'm going to do to help myself in that same situation, and that is why it is more advisable that you come together and hold each other's hands than to just be fighting amongst each other. So yeah, I try to explain the need for us to collaborate, how to even collaborate, and how to position yourself for collaboration. That will also start with healing. You have to heal that mindset of someone gets it and my light is, no. We are all unique. I may not be able to do what you're doing as good as you are doing it, because that is not who I am. So you have to find out who you are, find your strengths, and that is your unique card.
Then you collaborate.
Yes.
Who do you look out to collaborate with?
I'll say a safe woman, because like it or not, some women are not safe to have in your spaces. As much as I preach healing, as much as I preach sisterhood, not everybody will get to that point, mostly because of the level of damage they may have experienced. We hope they do get there, but if you are safe, you will pick the instance of who else is safe to have around you, because you're not careful and the person isn't, is likely going to ruin whatever journey you are embarking. So you need to look out for who is safe, who is intelligent, who actually wants to be there to contribute and not to just take. It's supposed to be a two-way stream when it comes to collaboration.
In your social development work, what are the limiting beliefs that you see people struggling with, and how can they address them?
I think because of my past, I can't do anything else. They define themselves. They create this box.
Like learned helplessness.
Yes, they create this box where I've made so many mistakes, and I think I probably will have to live with whatever I'm going through now. Yes. But this is what I always say. This is where you are today. That was where you were yesterday. Where do you want to be tomorrow? You're not throwing the past away, all right? Why did you do all that you did in the past? Is the first thing you need to ask yourself. Maybe it was because you were self-aware, or you didn't love yourself that much, or you had unresolved trauma. It definitely was packed by something. You figure that out, and then you ask yourself, so do I know better now? If you do, that's the next step to your next journey. So this is what I was known for in the past. This is where I am now. I'm learning, and I know I can do better. What do I want to be known for in the future? Because I want to be known for this, what do I have to do now for that to manifest, or for that to take effect or come to fruition? You start doing that here. And then your next journey has just started. You're good to go.
It's said that we are this generation and the generation behind us, all of us are a very self-absorbed, self-focused generation. We're all about the self-love, just, more like if it doesn't serve you, don't do it. And if you feel like it's hard, don't go to work. Like it's just self. What you feel, how you want things to be done. What's your take on that?
There's a thin line between self-love and self-absorption. It's just, you're not careful, practicing self-love, you just slip into self-absorption. So this is how I'll explain it. So when it comes to self-love, it's you and others. I say it's you and others because you do not live in isolation, but you can't also give what you don't have. So you pour into yourself all the good, love, patience, respect, honesty, all that, integrity, so that you're so full that you can run it up to others to also experience that. But if you don't have it, you can't give it. Self-absorption will be because you think it's all about you. There is nobody else that matters, quote unquote, in your world. So you have it all, but you don't care about others, so you're just as you. But when you realize that you live for others, this is a conception where people actually think, people keep saying we don't owe anybody anything. Please, we do. I mean, you do not live it. Your actions affect people directly or indirectly, so you should be conscious about what you do and what you say, because people are listening and people are watching. So self-love, pour into yourself all the good things so you can actually pour into others. So it's not just about you.
I mean, I feel like if you think you do not owe anybody anything, then do not expect anything from
anybody either.
It's really simple, because you owe everybody everything.
Yeah.
If somebody has 30 days to reorient themselves mentally, what would you tell them to do? Is 30 days too short a time?
No, it's not.
Okay.
You can actually make progress in 30 days. It starts with reframing your negatives, coming from a place of victim to survivor or to warrior. So what you tell yourself, your body absorbs. Okay. And unconsciously, you start acting because you hear it all the time. And so every part of you now reacts with it.
It becomes like a self-fulfillment.
Exactly.
Purpose.
So you start with the positive affirmations. I'm not what happened to me. Yes, it happened, I made mistakes, but now I know better. Those little things, sometimes it won't be easy for you to just admit it, because there are times it will be in your face. Like the reminder, some of the reminders are actually visible from your mistakes. It's staring at you in your face, but you have to try and find the good in the situation. Sometimes it doesn't look good in any way, but the fact that you survived it, because someone might have gone through the same thing and you're not even here to tell anyone about it. That's your good to some extent. So you just reframe all the negatives that happen to you, try to find the positive, and then when you get to the point where you can actually sit with it, try and then use that lesson to help somebody else avoid the mistake. You think it's just you trying to advise somebody, but the moment you can own your mistake, the lesson, and tell someone else, like you're looking out for somebody else, it does something to you. It's like, okay, now I can influence other people's decisions. I can actually help someone to not go through what I did, and that alone could set you on a journey where you want to touch lives. It's transformative. It reorients the whole, it was a mistake, or it was just a mere mistake, but it happened for a reason. So I could actually help other people to avoid it. And then there's the journaling. Sit with your feelings. We like to sweep feelings under the carpet. We max it up. We pretend it's not there. You cannot find solutions to something you pretend doesn't exist. So you have to sit with it, deal with it patiently, because it won't just go away. Healing takes time. You have to ensure that you've healed. You get to know you've healed when you think about the wound and it is not affecting your decisions negatively. So when you get to that point, you realize, okay, no, I'm getting better. Sometimes you will slip back, but getting to know you even slipped back is a win, because then you're now self-aware. Yeah.
Let's talk about people who have gone through a lot of misfortune, right? There are no jobs
Yeah.
in Ghana now, and people just completed national service. And I'm sure a lot of them were thinking, oh, maybe if I did this right and I did that right, I'll be retained. But there's really nothing coming in. They've been sent to go home. What kind of mentality should they have about their situation so that they can attract opportunities, and more importantly, they do not lose themselves in this whole unemployment process?
First is to embrace the waiting periods. If there's something I've come to appreciate is waiting periods, and to understand that sometimes what you're even asking for, you're not even ready for. Using myself as an example, there were times I wanted to sit in certain places, and I didn't get the chances to. Now that I do have the chances, I just thought, God, I'm grateful I had to wait. Because I had to learn. I had to learn to communicate. I had to learn to regulate my emotions. I had to learn how to carry myself. All that comes to play before you enter into certain rooms. So in your waiting periods, you still ask yourself, if I had the opportunity now, what would I do with it? What do I have to do to be prepared for the opportunity if it's presented right now? So you don't just sit around waiting. Make sure you are preparing for whatever it is. So the moment it comes, you're not going to ask, oh, give me 2 weeks to actually get myself together. It comes and you're ready. So do not wait. Don't waste your waiting periods. Sometimes the waiting period can actually drag, but prepare. You cannot over-prepare. You can never be over-prepared. Every day will come up with something new you have to learn. And taking time to learn it is important. So waiting periods, very, very important. And at those waiting periods, always have a positive mindset. Your time will come, one way or the other. And use what you have in the moment. It doesn't have to be extra. Sometimes magic is happening all around us, but we are just waiting to have so many things before we make the move. I did that, and I wasted a lot of time. And I'm like, if I knew this then, I probably wouldn't even be here now. So use what you have in the moment. Just start somewhere. Start with whatever you have. Create opportunities yourself. If someone won't give you the table, create your own table. Be visible in the smallest way. Just take up space, even the smallest ones. Do something that is relevant, that is positive as well, whilst you wait.
So now let's go back to your career. You were a copywriter, a ghostwriter. At what point did you realize that, oh, I'm good with this writing thing? I can build a whole career from
I think when I
that.
started ghostwriting with a firm, so when I got there, they had this book on their desk that had been there for 3 years. And the client wasn't happy with anything that was done. So more like, okay, you claim you're good with writing, you claim you have this background and all that, so let's see what you do with this book. So it was more like a challenge. I picked the book up and I'm like, okay, this is intense, because it was a whole, he was a lecturer, he is a lecturer, so it was more like he needing to get a syllabus for his class. And it was technical, it was HR. And I'm like, okay, I have a bit of background in HR, so let's see what I can do with this. So I asked for a meeting with a client. And they're like, no, you can't talk to him. I'm like, I can't start writing without knowing what the client wants. So let me just have a meeting with a client. So he picks the phone, calls the client, and I asked him just a question. I'm like, okay, so what do you want every reader to know after? Like, what's the main goal, focus, so I know where I'm directing myself towards? So he says, the book is supposed to govern HR practices. So it's not an HR practice book, but it's supposed to govern those who are practicing HR. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I started. In the first chapter that went, the gentleman was just blown away. He says, okay, so I couldn't have even thought of this angle myself. So from today onwards, please give her my number, let me deal with her directly. And our boss was like, no, we usually don't have that policy where a writer is like, no, when I explain something, would you understand? He says, no, good, let me just deal with her directly. And that was it. In 4 months, I was done with the book.
Wow.
And the gentleman was satisfied. Then I realized, okay, no, my mind works differently. When I pick a book, sometimes I just have to ask the right questions. and that's it. Then I assume the person's role. So when I left, I'm like, okay, I'm done with that part. But someone contacted me on freelance, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. We were done, and he's like, no, you should actually be monetizing this on the live, so like, you're good. So I'm like, okay, why not? So I registered a company, started, had some of these clients, recommended me to others. At the point I was overwhelmed because I was the only person doing the writing. So I had to get an extra hand. I trained her, and then we started working hand to hand, and then that was it. But at a point, let's just say, I don't know where I got that audacity from, and I knocked on one big person's door here in Ghana. He gave me the meeting. I got there, and every part of me thought I was going to get the book because, I had the accreditation and all that. And the first question he asked me was, what have you done for yourself? First, he was like, you're small. Are you sure you can write my story? I'm like, oh, yeah. I've written but I couldn't name names because of that.
Right,
yeah. And he's like, okay, no, so I want to see what you have done for yourself. You can't tell me you're a writer when you do not have a book for yourself. And then I'm like, okay. And I came back home and I'm like, I don't want to just write anything. So let me just take my time until I know that this is the path I want to start with. And that took me 2 years, or 2.5, before I started putting Rubies together. So when I was done, I think he was the first person I called.
Like, your book is here.
Yeah, when I called, I was like, hey, do you remember me? Of course, I remember you. How are you? I'm like, I'm good. Are you done with writing something for yourself? I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm calling you. Let me see. So he was actually part of those who sponsored the whole
That's cool.
And I'm like, is he ready to write now? He's like, no. He didn't have plans of writing. He just wanted me to know that you cannot say you are good at something when you do not represent it. And that was another lesson I learned.
That's interesting. So now you own your own writing, copywriting, ghostwriting consultancy. How is it like running that business?
It's not a walk in the park because you have to literally represent all the services that you're rendering. Like the man said, you are your first representation of any brand that you are pioneering. So when someone comes to your social media page, you say you're a copywriter. What are the copies on your profiles? Is it speaking? Is it impacting? Is it taking whatever you want people to understand? Is it actually achieving those goals? So I had to sit down and do a personal branding myself, just so I can use that as a reference point. And it was a lot of work because naturally, a lot of people don't believe that, but naturally I'm the introvert person. Like, I'm just introverted. But I realized the path that I was churning, I needed to put myself out there. And it was difficult. It was difficult because the plan was to hide behind people and still get it done.
Yeah.
But I realized this question always came up. But how come your social media is dry?
Yeah.
How come it's dry? And I'm like, okay, I have to just brace myself, work on my mind, tell myself this is a journey. You just have to do it because this is what you need. So I had to work on my page fully. So at a point, I even stopped advertising that this is what I do until I felt my page was okay to even point it out to people that, okay, so you can go on my page and check a thing or two. And yeah, so you have to really work on yourself because you're the first representation. And you also have to take your losses gracefully because they will come. Some will hit you hard. You're not careful, you might ask, why am I even doing this in the first place? You just want to go and sit somewhere. You want to go and sit somewhere, and you won't see the part where motivates a lot of people is the money.
Yeah.
You won't see it early. It won't come like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it won't even come at all. And you have to pay your dues, people say. People don't want to admit it, but sometimes before you can even enter into certain rooms, the dues has to be paid. You may have to render certain services free or at the lowest discount, close to nothing, just to prove that, yes, this is the value that I bring to the table. And the people who actually respect the value, they'll start singing your praise to other people, and that's how you get others too.
Many professionals think of writing a book, but they never start. As someone who helps other people write books, what should their first steps be?
So I have an intake process. I don't just take any book. That's the first thing. I know people would say, "Oh, just take the money," but I'm of the view that posterity will benefit from whatever we leave out here. So the first question is, do you just want to have the title author, or you actually have something to say? What problem do you want to address? So I have a whole, I think 15 or 20 questions. And mind you, ever since I put this whole 20 questions together, people come, they don't go and answer, they don't come back. So yeah, we start with why. Why do you want to write? What's the impact? If someone was done reading your book, what's the one thing they should be left with? If you're able to answer that, you sit down and even start writing something yourself before you hand it over to a ghostwriter.
Back to Rubies for her. If you could ensure that every woman read one chapter, just one chapter of your book, which chapter would you vote we all read?
Choosing a chapter will be rather difficult because all chapters are relevant and they are linked to each other. So it means you get from one to the other, and it's more like a journey. Yeah. But it will be chapter 1 because that's where it all starts. Know thyself and fall in love crazily with her. You love yourself and it changes the game, so to speak. Everything. You just walk with this clarity. It's like you've been handed a cheat code. Every aspect of your life, career, relationships, friendships, financial, everything, because now you know you have to pour into yourself before you can pour into the world in any way. So you take your time, pour into yourself, you set boundaries with yourself and others, and you walk with this power that I can do anything. There is nothing that I cannot overcome because I take time to sit with whatever that happens to me, learn from it, and then show up well in every situation. So yeah, self-love will be there. That chapter changes everything.
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Got it. For someone listening to you right now who dreams of making an impact but feels stuck, or what should they do?
Cry if you have to. I mean, I did a lot of crying in the days where it didn't make sense. In the days where I couldn't figure it out. It was like a maze. I allowed myself to feel the emotions and find a community. The people who care about you is very important. Like, talk to them. Sometimes you know what you need to do, but it will be better hearing it from someone who has a level of confidence in you. It clicks because you'll be full with self-doubts in the face of feeling stuck because your emotions are all over the place. So find your community. It could be your mother, sister, friend. Pray. In prayer, you get a lot of clarity. We tend to try to do things on our own. And I've seen the difference, doing it on my own and then going back to him. All the time, I'm reminded, go back, because it doesn't work when I try on my own. You get it. So pray, sit with it, allow yourself to feel the moment. And you'll be surprised the moment you start feeling unstuck, all the lessons you went through are what you needed for the next move.
So, still on the topic of collaboration among women, what is your take on the value of female friendship in doing life, right? In life, in career, in everything. Like, why is it important that as women, we have other women as friends? And how does that impact our career and our life?
They're very important because, in my opinion, it sets a standard with what to even expect from a man, one way or the other. I'll take some of my female friendships as an example. The way these ladies treat me, I don't think I would take any other treatment below that standard from a man, even if I like the person. Because if this woman can see me and speak life into my life, if this woman can see me and tell me, you need to do this, and I'm here to hold your hand. If this woman can hold my hand and pray with me when she realizes that I am down, what else do I want? Is it that you're topping the standard? Oh, please, you're not in the circle. So we don't see it all the time, but how we treat each other makes it easy for us to set a certain boundary with how others treat us. We become safe spaces for each other. We become each other's therapists. We become each other's financial support, because I've seen girls go all out for each other when it comes to finances. We protect each other from the predators. When I say predators, you probably would understand. So I can't overemphasize the importance of female friendships. It's a safe haven. It gives you everything. They literally hold your hand to walk through the fire you would have to go through in life. So very, very important. Again, if they are safe women, then it's a blessing. Yeah, female friendships. But female friendships are hard. Let me throw this
Why
in
are
there.
they hard?
Because especially when you meet people who have worked on themselves, someone who has gone through a journey, let's just say a Rubies for her lady, her standard is different because she's taking time to pour into it. She knows who she is, all right? So she won't accept just anything. So you'd have to come correct, like they say. You'd equally have to work on yourself. You should know how to talk, how to regulate your emotions, because she's likely not going to make room for certain things that are going to drag her back to where she's come from. So if you find an environment like that, it's healthy, and it's going to challenge you to deal with every unhealthy part of you. And if you're not ready, it will cause frictions. It means you're not supposed to be there.
When you were speaking about self-love, you said that setting boundaries is part of self-love. How can people set boundaries at work?
Why are you there? That's the first question, exactly. So there are certain conversations, anything that you know will jeopardize the main reason why you were there should be a reason why you set a certain kind of boundary. Let's say, for instance, you're working in a space where discretion is important. You don't go talking too much. So you can tell yourself, you work on yourself to the point that, when you go to the office, I think a word or two, hi, hello, hope you're doing well. You're human. Sometimes you get carried away. But the moment you work on yourself with that boundary where you say, after hi, hello, and the person starts a conversation where it's personal or it's beyond their pay grade or their department, I'm either going to just smile and walk away. That's a boundary. That's a healthy boundary at your workplace. So you know why you're there, the dynamics that might affect you negatively, and then work on putting certain mechanisms, healthy mechanisms in place, respectfully, so that you don't find yourself in trouble. Basically, yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for coming. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did.
did.
Where can they find your book?
So you can send us a DM or go to the Victress's bookshop
Okay.
in East Legon, and you would get a copy.
It's on Amazon as well.
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay.
It's on Amazon.
So it's on Amazon, Victress's bookshop.
Yeah.
In East Legon.
In East Legon.
And just send them a DM on Instagram. We would put the Instagram details in the show notes, so you can just click on it and purchase a copy. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for listening and watching. I hope that you enjoyed our conversation. Please purchase a copy of Rubies for Hair. Link in the show notes. And make sure that you subscribe, like, follow, and share this episode with your friends. See you all next week. Bye-bye.